93, I drove the ghost mile through Cold Hollow, and those shadows still claw at my soul, whispering my name every night. I'm Eddie Malone, a trucker hauling freight across Ohio's back roads in the 1990s, living off greasy diner coffee, no-dose pills, and a worn-out Nirvana cassette that skipped on Drain You. Route 17 was my lifeline, a lonesome stretch, weaving through cornfields, in ghost towns forgotten since the steel mills shut down. Cold Hollow was the worst of them, a village left to rot, its houses crumbling like old bones, its church bell rusted silent, the air heavy with stories truckers swapped on Channel 19. They called it the Ghost Mile, whispering about rigs vanishing, lights flickering in the woods, and voices begging for help over static. I thought it was all road-weary nonsense. Tall tales from drivers who'd spent too many nights chugging Red Bull and squinting through fog. After my divorce bled me dry, ex took the house, the savings, even my dog. I needed every haul I could get to keep my Peterbilt running and my head above water. So, one chilly October night in '93, I took the shortcut through Cold Hollow, my Walkman blasting Come As You Are, the stars swallowed by a sky blacker than engine oil. I didn't know the village was awake, waiting. As my rig rumbled past the faded welcome sign, my CB radio crackled, not with my buddy Ray's usual chatter, but a woman's voice, sharp and cold, slicing through the static. Eddie Malone, you're already dead. My name, spoken like she'd known me forever, sent a shiver down my spine, and the road ahead seemed to twist, like it was pulling me in. My headlights flickered, dimming as Cold Hollow's sign came into view, its letters peeling like burned skin, barely readable in the dark. The road narrowed, asphalt fracturing into gravel that crunched under my tires like brittle bones. My rig's engine coughed, a deep, sickly sputter, even though I'd filled the tank at a Sunoco 40 miles back and checked the battery in Toledo. The dashboard clock froze at 3:33 a.m., its red digits glowing like eyes. I fiddled with the CB, hoping for Ray, but that woman's voice came again, now a scream. You can't leave, Eddie. I cranked my Walkman, Kurt Cobain's voice drowning her out, but the tape warped, slowing to a guttural moan, like the song itself was dying. Something darted across the road, a kid, maybe 12, in a faded flannel shirt, his eyes catching my high beams like polished coins. I slammed the brakes, the rig lurching, my coffee thermos crashing to the floor. My heart pounded like a jackhammer, but when I leaned out the window, the road was empty, just fog curling like fingers. I grabbed my maglite, its beam weak, and stepped out, boots sinking into gravel that sounded too much like teeth grinding. The air hit me hard, thick with rust, and a sour, rotting stench, like meat left out too long. He called out, "Hey kid, you okay?" My voice echoed, then died, swallowed by a low hum rising from the village, a vibration I felt in my chest, like Cold Hollow was alive, breathing, and pissed I'd shown up. I scanned the dark, my flashlight catching glints of something eyes, in the trees watching, waiting. I told myself it was a coyote, maybe a deer, but my gut knew better. The hum grew, a chorus of whispers weaving my name, pulling me toward the village's heart. Cold Hollow's main street was a corpse of a town, houses with boarded windows, porches sagging like they'd given up, a gas station with pumps rusted to stumps. My flashlight swept the dark, catching a payphone at the corner, its receiver dangling, swinging slow like it was breathing. I jogged over, hoping for a dial tone, but when I pressed it to my ear, static hissed, laced with voices, men, women, kids chanting, "Eddie, Eddie, Eddie." I dropped it, the receiver clattering against the booth, and caught a glimpse in a house window. A face, pale as bone, no eyes, just black pits, gone when I blinked. I muttered, Too many pills, Malone. Blaming the no-dos. But my rig wouldn't start now. The keys felt heavy, like they were fighting me, refusing to turn. That kid appeared again, standing by the gas station, his flannel torn, eyes unblinking. I shouted, "Kid, get out of here!" But he melted into the fog, leaving only that hum now louder, shaking the ground like a heartbeat. I ran toward the church at the street's end, figuring its walls might shield me from whatever was out there. The fog thickened, tasting of ash and copper, and the whispers grew. Not just my name now, but words I couldn't understand, like a language older than the hills. I glanced back, and the shadows moved, not animals, not people, but shapes, tall and thin, with limbs that bent wrong, gliding through the fog. My flashlight flickered, its beam stuttering, and I swore the houses leaned closer, their roofs like jaws ready to snap shut. The church door groaned open, splintered wood scraping my hands as I pushed through. Inside, pews were coated in dust, cobwebs draping like funeral veils, the altar cracked down the middle like a broken spine. My flashlight caught symbols carved into the walls, jagged, spiraling marks, like something clawed them in a frenzy. The air was colder here, my breath clouding, stinging my lungs. Footsteps echoed behind me, slow, deliberate, scraping like nails on stone. I spun, beam shaking, but the church was empty, just shadows dancing in corners. Then my CB, left in the rig, crackled in my jacket pocket. "Eddie, you belong here," it whispered. A dozen voices layered, none human. I tore at the door, but it slammed shut, the lock clicking like a trap. The hum was deafening now, coming from below. A chorus of voices that vibrated my bones, like the church itself was singing. I kicked at a boarded window, glass shattering, shards slicing my palms as I crawled out. Outside, the fog was a wall, and those shadows were closer figures in flannel and jeans, faces hollow, mouths stretched into silent screams, their arms too long, fingers like blades. I ran, the village twisting around me, alleys looping back, houses shifting like they were alive. The hum turned into words. "Stay, Eddie. Stay. Forever." My flashlight flickered, barely cutting the dark, and I felt eyes on me. Not just from the shadows, but from the ground, the sky, the air itself. I tripped over something soft, not a root, a hand, gray and cold, sticking out of the dirt like it was reaching for me. I gagged, stumbling back, my Zippo lighter sparking as I fumbled to light it. The flame was weak, but it showed them figures surrounding me, their eyes voids, their bodies wrong, like they'd been stretched and broken. One lunged, its fingers grazing my arm, cold as ice, leaving a burn that throbbed. I sprinted toward where I thought my rig was, the ground quaking, the hum now a scream in my head, chanting my name. The fog parted, revealing my Peterbilt. Door ajar, keys gone. I climbed in, slamming it shut, locking it. But the CB was screaming, voices piling over each other. "Eddie, you're home." I ripped its wires out, but it kept going, powered by nothing. The figures pressed against the windows, their hands smearing black oil that moved like it was alive, crawling across the glass. I hot-wired the rig, sparks flying, my bloody hands slipping, and the engine roared to life. I floored it, tires spinning, the village blurring as I tore down the ghost mile. The figures didn't chase, they watched, heads tilting, their eyes burning into me through the mirrors. Dawn broke as I hit a diner, 70 miles out. My hands still bleeding, my rig's paint scratched with those church symbols. I told my buddy Ray on the CB, but he laughed. Said Cold Hollow wasn't on any map, just a trucker's ghost story. I never took Route 17 again. I sold my rig, moved to Dayton, got a warehouse job, but sleep's a lost cause. That hums in my walls at night, faint, but there, like a heartbeat. Last month, I found a flannel shirt in my closet, one I never bought, stained with black oil that reeked of Cold Hollow. I burned it, but the smoke curled into my name hanging in the air. The cops checked Cold Hollow after I begged, found nothing but empty fields. Said I was drunk, stressed, seeing things. My Zippo's gone, left in that church, and I ain't going back. Truckers still talk about the ghost mile. New voices on the CB, new names whispered. My radio's unplugged, but it crackles sometimes, saying Eddie like a prayer. I keep a crowbar by my bed. Check my locks 3 times. If you're on Route 17, don't stop, not for fog, not for voices, not for a kid in flannel. They're not lost, they're hunting.